tēnei, e tuake nei, e mihi atu ana haki a koutou katoa ka tai mai ki roti tēnei whare. Koutou i mauri au mai o koutou taonga ki te hakairi rungi i ngā pātū, hei hakamahana i tēnei whare tēnā koutou. Koutou i hakarite tēnei kaupapa, hakahirahira nei. Koutou, ngā pauako, ngā paurangatira. Koutou, ngā Pūrehuroa Māori. Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko wai tēnei ko Makareta Jahnke e tōku ingoa. He uri aha o ngā puhi, Ngāti ue one one, ki ngā puhi, Ngāti āwhaeroa, ngai taharora ki Ngāti Pro. Well, I have to reflect on 25 years. When I started here, I must have been only 18, 19 years old. And, I was really, really lucky. I was really lucky to have the right po to help me set the foundations for my future. I was only young then, but I knew that this was the place for me. I wasn't forced, Nigel. My mother saw something in me when I was young. I was tutuing around in the backyard with a bit of harakeke, and I was always found in the back room doing bone carving. So she knew I wasn't a writer of such, but I could actually write with my fingers. This was my language, and so she said, "You're going to your uncle." So that was me. I came into Toioho ki Āpiti, really not knowing what it was going to be like, but the reo kept me grounded, and that was my whanaunga, that was my aho. That's what kept me going through my art practice, ko te reo. Tēnei mahi e hakātu ana ngā akoranga o Toitiri tō Maihi. Toitiri tō Maihi was definitely one of my amazing mentors at the time. That meant going home. I did my foundation here as a student, and I learned a lot from that. But what it did is it made me really hungry to go home. Ki te ako i ngā mātauranga, i te nota, i te taitokero, i te tawa tuku māma. So, going back to the kākahu, that one was all the teachings that Toi gave me in the time that I spent with her up in Kaiako. And we found each other. That's what happened. I had a family. I took my whānau home, back to grassroots, and I had to do that with my husband because I couldn't find it in Tāmaki. There was a place I couldn't be grounded, and so what was important to me, mauri atu a te tamariki, toku tāne, ki te kāinga, te tau tuku māma, ki te papa kāinga, a ko te reo Māori, ngā mea katoa. And when I got there, I actually met Toitiri tō Maihi not knowing who she was. And and what actually drew me to her was her kete. And before I even knew who she was, it was almost like zoning into something that, before you even meet the kanohi o te wahinera, nā, ko te raranga, te tohu, nā, e karanga te kiai. So it was her kete that drew me to her. And then we got going from then, she was in this wee house, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? And she said, I'm starting up a wharepora here. Nā, koe tētahi tauira tuatahi o taua wharepora i te nota. I think I spent the next 10 years with her, learning ona pukenga katoa, I ako au, ona kōrero, e rere ana I roto I ngā mahi whatu, mahi whiri, rangaranga hoki, era pukenga katoa, nā aku nāna I tuku kia. Ne? So this example was made during COVID, and I've got a lot to thank her for because of her teachings. And, you know, ko whetirangi te ia I tēnei wā, and engari, mohe ana hau, kei konei ia, kei taha I ngā wākata. Tēnā koutou. My rāranga journey, whatu journey, kākahu journey, it was going for a long time. I'm really kaupapa driven. Being a permanent tai tukero meant that, you know, you end up going to a kaupapa and you go, this person needs a kākahu. Nā kawaia, mō te ahai, you know, era kōrero katoa ngā wānanga, whakatakato I te kaupapa mō tauatanga. Ne? So I made a lot of kākahu, but then this one came around and I met Maureen Lander. A few years I started going to wānanga and I met her by the kouta. And we started to talk. And I think we were talking about mā whiti. And she had her interpretation, and I was by the fire with her, sitting with her, and I said, wow, that's interesting, I don't see mā whiti that way. And so when I started to explain how I see mā whiti, it was a different language, but she could almost see what I was trying to explain to her. We both looked at each other and realised, wow, we're connecting. You know, I look like ngā kōrero ato kitenga. How you see things may be different, but there were different interpretations. It was amazing kōrero by the kouta. And I'm really grateful for that's Pāti Aroha Marae. This led me into this kaupapa te rā, which made me a sail weaver, traditional sail weaver. Nāna I kite koe tētahi kairānganga, pai ana ki te mau e nā Pūrehuroa katoa. And te rā, those te rā were actually completed to, I would say, to respond to Te Rangihiroa's wero. So, on the completion of Mahere Tuki Te Rangi, that was 100 years after, it was a 100-year celebration of te rā, bringing back knowledge home. E nei, ke te toro, these are in response to the Māori Women's Welfare League time, when they were doing their kiddies in the community. And so I decided, well, I'm going to do some as well to acknowledge nā e rā wahine I roto I te hāpori, you know, e awhiana I ngā kaupapa katoa, te hāpori rā. So, yeah, I went back into whatu again. And ko tērā tuku momo ne, hono ki te whatu, hono ki te moka, moka tangata. It keeps happening all the time. I always jump into spaces, and these three were produced for Ki Te Iti that was exhibited in Taranaki. And then actually currently it's over at the Wanganui Museum, along with other weavers, beautiful weavers, and I love to be in collaborations and doing work like this. It's amazing. Tēnei mahi he tāniko nā e whakarapa ana I tēnei whare o papahoai ki tēnei. I would say that this was a beautiful piece because it meant that I had to go into the communities and listen. Ne? Listen to the narratives, listen to the stories, and then realised how is this going to wrap around the whare. Now, it's a sports complex, yes. And I thought to myself, actually the whenua. Now, how te kōrero te whenua? Kōrero atu ki ngā te haukanga, rātou e moana ki rungi tēnā. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful narrative. And so I had to go out and figure out how do I bring this together. And I'm a teacher as well. So I went out into the community, worked with the tamariki, ngā tamariki katoa, listened to their aspirations, ngā wawata o rātou. Nā, I roto I tēnā ka puta tēnei tāniko, hei hakarapa I te wharera. So it's all about protection. It's all about cloaking those who enter the whare. And it's my iteration of ara moana, because ko te rere I mua, I rungi tēnā whenua, it doesn't, the river's no longer there. It used to be called Papa Hawaii. Nā he hononga ki Hawaii. Nā reira, e tika ana ki te hakarapa te tane ko ara moana. Hei hononga ki Hawaii. Nā te mea ko tēnei kōrero, nā mai Hawaii, ka haramai, ka takato I rungi te whenua, hakainga te ataua awa, Papa Hawaii. So here's me weaving these stories into interiors and exteriors of buildings, into everything that's built by the hapori. This last one here, e pukahurangi. This is me coming back into my, I would say my space, because after raising 6 children on a farm, 8 horses, dogs, chickens, you name it, we've got it, and a beautiful husband of mine who's a beautiful reo speaker o ngā puhi, ko Quentin Hitatera. Me ona mahi katoa, I think I must drag them home so he could grasp all the reo off my memories. And now he's actually sharing that mātauranga in the homes. So, ko tērā taku pōtai e tuarua, nā hea kaiawhi nā hau, ki te kau e tēnā kaupapa o te reo Māori. E tēnei taha whare pōra nei. This one actually was after, I would say, my trip to Hawaii. And then I realised it was for the feast pack. I was supposed to go to the feast pack. I didn't go to the feast pack. My feast pack was actually weaving with the people. That was my feast pack. I skipped off to Kualoa, sat with the Tahitian weavers and the Hawaiian weavers, and ka timata mata ki te kōrero. Nā kōrero ana mo ngā whenua o te rā e raranga ana mātou. We were weaving a sail together. Tahitians, Hawaiians, me. And I was learning so much more. There's so much to learn. There's a wealth of learning out there. And this one is about my connections. This is about protection. Tēnā koutou.